Good morning, Phat. Here's your machine, the Breville Oracle BES980. This is a refurbished used unit, very good condition, in and out. I just finished doing the refurbishing just last night. So this unit has had a full O-ring set, so rubber rings on all the boiler probes and ports, new water level probes. I've deep cleaned the machine in and out, and it's actually in very good cosmetic condition as well. I don't see any big scratches or dents. Actually, I had to install a new drip tray, so the drip tray is pretty much brand new. I've given it a handle, deep cleaned the wand, done a few boiler flushes and cleaning cycles, and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna make my morning latte on it. So that means I'm gonna be testing every feature on this machine: hot water tap, grinder, obviously the espresso brewing and the milk frothing. And I've just turned it on a couple minutes ago, and it's almost done. You can turn it on a timer or a clock. I've actually programmed it to turn on at 6 o'clock. It's now 7 a.m. So it's back to it'll turn off after 30 minutes, I think, of 15 minutes of disuse. Yeah, it's now at 93, ready to go. You probably can't see the numbers on the screen. Actually, you can a little bit. Yeah, so 93, that's the factory default settings. I've factory reset the whole machine, checked for faults, etc. Everything seems to be good. Yeah, so the first thing I like to do when I use any coffee machine is to do a blank shot. So once the machine is up to temperature, I would get the portafilter, which is empty. As you see, this is the double basket. I'll get the cup, lock it in a little bit, and then press the single or double button. The single will go for 25, I think. 30 will go for 30. The double will go for 30 seconds. Let's press the single. Your machine comes with the single and double baskets. Cleaning disc, cleaning tablet, and the brush, and of course the milk jug. It's a nice large milk jug. 25 seconds, there we go. So this step will warm up your internals, warm up your group head, warm up your portafilter. It's also going to warm up your cup. So all these need to be warmed up before you make a coffee. Otherwise your coffee may come out a bit cold, a bit sour. We don't want that. Great. Next is the grinding. I've got it on grind size, let's put it at grind size 25. Grind size 25. And I've got a scale here to measure the inputs and outputs if you're curious what those look like. Let me just reset everything. There we go. So you make sure you dry the portafilter before you grind, because the tamper is sensitive to pressure, and you don't want the coffee to be wet, otherwise it might disrupt things. Make sure the portafilter is dry. I've recently changed the grind size from 28 to 25, so I'm going to discard a bit of the dose. So to do that, grind for about 5 seconds and get rid of that. This will be the old grind size mixed in with the new grind size, and then resume. It'll stop on its own when it's ready to go. I'm just pouring my milk here. So once it's done, take it out. Perfectly tamped surface. There will be almost always a bit of coffee grounds on the edges, or maybe loose coffee around the puck. Just flip it upside down in the bin and clean the edges before locking it in. So this should be about 18 to 22, and we are getting 21 grams. So this is 21 grams of ground coffee, very good. You can increase or decrease the dose by changing the tamper settings, but I think because it's an automatic machine, you don't really have to. If you're not getting any tamping issues, I wouldn't play with the settings, honestly. So lock it in, right in the middle position. If it's loose, go a bit tighter, but I've noticed that it won't move if you put it in the center position or a bit to the right, just a little bit, as you can see, maybe at like 5:30 o'clock. What's next? Yeah, so we've got the hot water tap. Let's test that. Very easy. They've placed it just around the cup so that you can do an Americano or long black coffee without moving your cup, which is pretty handy. You can use that to also obviously do tea bags or warm up your cups, pretty much anything you want. I like to add a bit of sugar to my coffee, so I like to add a bit of hot water to help the sugar dissolve. If you like sweetener, hazelnut syrup, or syrups in general, or sweeteners or sugars, add them at this stage before the espresso pours in, so that once it does pour in, it mixes with the coffee. Otherwise, what will happen if you add the sugar after the espresso is that you have to either mix it up really hard, which will disrupt the coffee and make you wait longer, or you will get a really sweet tasting last sip when you finish the cup. So the sugar will settle at the bottom. That's not nice. So we measured the input at 21 grams. We will measure the output now. If you didn't know, with coffee, it's a 2-to-1 ratio that you aim for. So for every gram of coffee you put in the handle, you want to get 2 grams out. In this case, we have 21. We will be aiming for around 40. Give or take 5, let's say. Doesn't have to be a science experiment, but the closer it is, usually the better. Now, I made a coffee yesterday at grind size 28, and it was a bit too quick, I think. So we'll do it again, but this time at 25. If the coffee comes out too quick, that tells me your beans are either too old. If they're not too old, your grind size is too coarse. So if the coffee comes out too quick, in 30 seconds, you will get more than the 42 grams that we aim for. So if you get 55, 60, 70 grams of coffee in the 30-second brew time, that's too much coffee. That means your grind size is too large. If you get too little coffee, so if you get less than 35 grams, so for example, you only get 10 or 20 grams of coffee in the 30 seconds, that tells me that your grind size is too fine. You need to grind coarser. Hopefully it's close to the 40 mark today. Without any further ado, let's give it a go. Not the best flow. That tells me my beans are a bit too old. It is at the end of their shelf life. It's been about 2 months. I will turn it off right here. So I think that's 22 seconds. I think that's close to 40 grams. Could be wrong. It's 45. So a bit too long. Grind size is a bit too. Actually, grind size is good because I'm pretty sure the beans are old. Anyway, that's not important. I could do this again with fresh beans, but that would be a waste. This still is a drinkable shot, so it's just over the 42 gram mark that we were aiming for, but we still had some flow, and it wasn't too quick. So we have some creamer as well. I'm gonna mix it up and then put it aside. I would recommend, because if I set it up with my beans, it would be arbitrary, because you'll go home, you test it with your own beans, and you might change the settings. So I will keep it at 25. I think that's a good starting point for you. If you have good beans, you probably will stay there. If you have cheaper beans or older beans, you may struggle and need to go a bit finer. If you have really good beans, you may need to actually increase the grind size and go a bit coarser, because really good beans will have a lot of gases and freshness in them, so you actually need to grind coarser to actually get some coffee. You can do the cleaning now, you can do the cleaning while doing the milk. I think to make use of time, we'll do that during the milk. I've deep cleaned the wand, and hopefully we should be getting a good level of froth. You've got a manual setting if you want to froth your milk like a barista. Pull it up, do it this way. You can do latte art, etc. Not too difficult to do if you have some skills or training. But if you're lazy like me, every now and then you want to do the automatic setting. This one does have it, and it's got latte and cappuccino settings and everything in between. So you've got about 10 settings between latte and cappuccino. Latte being flat milk with little froth, cappuccino being very thick foam. I'll be trying the cappuccino so that we can give the machine every chance it's got, so you can sort of expect and know what to expect in terms of the frothing abilities of this machine. I tested it last night, gave me a very thick foam after the deep clean and the tweaking of a few settings. I'll keep it at 60 degrees Celsius, and here we go. Make sure the milk level is at least here, so that the one tip is submerged. If it's not submerged, obviously you can't steam your milk. There's a white line on the wand that you can follow for the dose, but for me, as long as the tip is submerged, that's fine. It's just below the spout on the jug. Your jug is a bit bigger actually, this is my jug. Push it down. I will do the cleaning now, so knock this out. Very clean actually, it's probably the cleanest pack I've ever seen. There's no coffee grounds left. But you just still do the rinse. So press the button, do the quick rinse. Tip, if you're rinsing or warming up the machine, etc., and you just want a little bit of hot water, not a lot, don't go over 6 seconds on the timer. Every time you go over 7 seconds, it will count that as a shot. So your cup counter will increase if you go over 7 seconds. It will increase by 1 coffee. Perfect. If you want to be extra nice to your machine, get a tissue and wipe the group head seal and the shower screen. When you're done, there's a bit of coffee left in there. The milk seems to be finished, so we will attend to that. I can see it's a very thick foam, which is good for a cappuccino. This machine is sensitive to cleaning, so I actually thought that the machine needed a new air pump. Changed the air pump, didn't really change anything. And then I put back the old air pump, and what I did was deep clean the wand and change a few settings, and it's working like magic. Honestly, I've had this issue before, but I've never expected it to be cleaned, done by cleaning. So that just tells you how important cleaning is. And yeah, I've done this like 3 times so far. It's giving me very thick foam, no issues at all. It'll purge, as you saw. It'll purge when you're done and you push it down. It'll purge 5 times, but I would still purge it 1 more time, just to be sure. There's a bit of milk left, and wipe it as well as you can. It gets really hot, so the milk will stick there if you don't clean it right away. And make sure you get the bottom edge. A lot of people miss this. It's like around this probe. I would get that as well. Or the bottom aspect. So here's my milk. Let's not let it sit for too long. We may actually it seems like we've got almost a bit too much foam, which I never expected to say, because just yesterday I was struggling to get some foam. Oh, that's beautiful. If you have any big air bubbles, just mix it up. Knock it to break them up. There we go. Beautiful. Let me show you the final result. This is the cappuccino, very thick foam. If you do some practice, or even actually bring, I haven't tried this, but if you bring it down to the middle setting or maybe the latte setting, you may be able to get smoother milk and actually do some latte art. Breville does have some videos of them doing latte art with the Oracle. Honestly, I'm not a barista. I've never done proper latte art, so I won't confirm that. But I'm pretty sure that if you do the manual mode, you can get even better milk. But this is good enough for most people if you only care about the taste and not the looks. And yeah, hope you enjoy the machine. It's fantastic condition. If you're interested, I'll just zoom out. Sorry about the mess. This is my kitchen / workbench. But yeah, the machine is in great condition, as you saw in the photos. Hope you enjoy. Hope you have a good time using it. And if you have any issues or concerns, please don't hesitate. And thanks for watching. See you soon.